Hello, and welcome back to What Brought You Here Today. I'm your host, Ryan Melick, and on today's episode, I sit down with my friend, Lindsey. She's a friend, colleague, mom, author, and certified financial coach and therapist. Lindsey and I talk about coping skills, entering parenthood during a pandemic, mental health, her book, I've Got 99 Coping Skills and Being a Bitch Ain't One, and her transition from social worker to certified financial therapist. This episode does discuss labor, delivery, traumatic birth experiences, and postpartum mental health. Please take extra care while listening. Hello, everybody. Welcome to What Brought You Here Today. I am joined with one of my really good friends, former colleagues, also a mom. Her name is Lindsey. Welcome, Lindsey.
Hello, hello, hello.
How are you today?
I am well. It is Monday. We just finished our basement bedroom, so I'm like crazed trying to finish that. And I have like my office here now, my little alcove. So I'm very excited, but I'm like, oh my gosh, now I get to decorate a whole room and move our whole life down here. So it's fun. It's a lot. It's exciting.
Are you at your new desk, your new office space right now?
Yes, it looks really bare. I don't know if you video your podcast. I forget. Do you?
No, I mean,
No. Okay. Yeah, no, but yes, I'm at my new desk. This is only my second meeting I've taken here. I'm like, oh my God, I'm so excited to like put things on the walls. It's gonna be great.
yeah. I mean, this is a step up from like the Tupperware in the living room that we
Tupperware in the
we,
living
we
room.
both have done.
Yep, we both done that. And then I was in my basement was framed in for like, I don't know, a good 8 months. So I was just sitting on my child's like nugget, like the play structure for a long time taking meetings. So that was great. My client last night was like, oh my gosh, you have walls. I was like, we have walls, people. We have walls. We're moving on now.
What an upgrade.
It is. It's amazing.
So Lindsey and I have known each other. We just figured this out before I hit record for about 9 years now. We met working together at an inpatient hospital in Minnesota. So we are both in the mental health field. Why don't you give the people your background?
I just want to like do a Kanye, like give the people what they want. My
Well, you did
background.
it.
So I did it. There you go. I am Lindsey. Yes, well, yeah. So I worked inpatient psych with Ryan. And then, wow, so much has happened in 9 years. I don't even know where to like go from there. I basically became a licensed social worker. I got my master's in social work and was doing the thing for a couple of years, taking, outpatient clients, working mostly as like generalist stuff. And then a pandemic happened. And then I found out I was pregnant a month before the pandemic came. And so I was working in a clinic and I stopped working because we didn't know. That was like when we were still wiping down groceries. Like we didn't know, what the thing could do to babies. So that's when I became a stay-at-home mom. Which was fine for a while, but I realized just how much social work is truly like a part of me. And so I missed what I did. I loved, my baby and stuff, but I wanted to work still. And so I have figured out kind of how to do that integration, work-life balance situation. So now I'm mom by day and I am a financial therapist by night and weekend. And so there's kind of a lot of stuff in between, but that is where I'm at now without giving everyone my entire play-by-play life story.
You're also an author.
I'm also an author. Yes, when my baby was 9 months old, I was like, get me out of my head because I entered motherhood in as Ryan knows, a severe postpartum depression, postpartum anxiety situation over here. And so she's holding up my book. Yes, I got 99 coping skills and being a bitch ain't one is my book. And it's awesome. And everyone should get a copy because it is truly so helpful. And
We'll link it in the show notes for everybody.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. So I'm an author also, and that's amazing. And that was a really fun process actually. So we can talk about that if you want, if people have questions, I don't know, whatever.
Yeah, definitely. I think we'll touch on it because I think I was fortunate enough to be in the back seat of the process.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you were one of my beta readers, weren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Ryan is very, very well equipped with understanding my book.
Yeah, I know all 99 coping skills and I still reference them often, even in my own social media. And like,
You do,
to my
which I
clients.
always so appreciate. It's like the very best. My favorite is rock climbing. So if you want to read number, I think it's 88. It's a good
Oh
one.
my God. We're going to verify that you know this.
I think I know it, but I might not because I changed the list so much. So people always ask. So the book is literally quite literally a list of 99 coping skills for the, am I right? I'm
You're
right.
right.
Heck
88
yeah.
is rock climbing. Yeah, let's just talk about the book while
Let's
we're
talk
here.
about it. Yeah. Yeah. So that one, and some people are like, you have rocks for brains. I'm never going rock climbing. And I'm like, you don't have to. There's 98 other coping skills to choose from. So there you go.
What made you write the book?
That's a good question. Do you know this story? You might not. It started at Prairie Care.
I know, like, I think just high level, I heard you talk about it at Prairie Care and
Okay.
kind of
Yeah.
like, but I don't know like what made it actually come to fruition.
Yeah. So when I was there, so Ryan and I were both floor staff, so we worked very, very closely with the patients. I don't know how much your audience kind of knows about this already, but essentially we were nurses without passing meds is kind of how I say it. Like I don't want people to have the idea that we were the therapists or the doctors that come in for 45 seconds and then leave, right? Like we were very hands-on with the patients, very doing a lot of the stuff. And so a lot of what we were doing is like there would be, a patient in the midst of a panic attack, something like that. And we were on the ground working with the patients, doing those breathing techniques, doing whatever we could to, get them out of that panic, that state of panic. And so, but while we were there, Ryan and I both worked upstairs a lot, which was the adolescent floor. And so these patients would come off the elevator and it was a super vulnerable time, really, really scary for them. And our job was to like take their vitals, do the thing, hand them a folder, show them their rooms, get them kind of acclimated to the floor. And as I was paging through the folder one day, I realized like they had their lunch menu, they had like a hospital map, but they had nothing in there to serve them for their mental health. And I was like, that's why they're here. So let's change that. And so I talked to my manager and I just said, can I come up with a list of like 99 coping skills to just like, if they're going to get off that elevator, sometimes 2 a.m. and they're not going to sleep because it's a new environment. It's really scary. It's like I said, a really vulnerable situation. Let's at least start giving them like those actual tangible skills that they probably haven't learned in, their just day-to-day layperson life. And so I got the stamp of approval and then I started working on that. And that's really like where the original list kind of stemmed from. And the book evolved so much from that because the entire book is evidence-based, which makes it sound textbooky. And I promise it's not, it's very funny. But it is, there's like stories in there of how we've used the coping skills with patients, all sorts of that kind of stuff. So yeah, that's kind of the backstory on it. Was basically I just wanted to give people these skills that like we are equipped and qualified to teach and do, and people just don't really know about them or don't think of them as necessarily a coping skill when like really if you're more intentional and purposeful in your life, they are coping skills.
Right. Like rock
Right.
climbing is a coping skill.
Right. I love like that is I honestly love rock climbing. REI. I haven't been since I've had my son, my second child, but they closed it down during the pandemic. But like I used to love going to the REI rock wall and climbing.
Yeah.
Like my husband hates it, not his favorite coping skill, but I truly love it. So, but there, I mean, there is so much in there. There's some that are like, things that you would probably know to do, like going for a walk outside. But there's like very intricate, like progressive muscle relaxation, resetting your vagus nerve, right? Like, and you can look through some of Brian's content too to find other things that she recommends. But yes, there's 99 in there. It's not a small number. And there's very fun interviews from people, from experts, and yeah, it's loaded with information.
And I think this is fitting, maybe really fitting timing because the 99th coping skill is a happy lamp.
Yes.
And if you are in the Northern Hemisphere like we are, which I think most of my listeners at this point are local to Minnesota, it's dark, getting darker earlier and earlier and staying darker longer.
Mm-hmm.
So a happy lamp is an amazing coping skill for increasing your vitamin D and boosting your mental health. But I will vouch that the book is very well written, very easily digestible, very funny.
Thank you. Thank you.
Lindsey's personality shines through the whole thing. And the interviews, and I think the people that you got to do the interviews are very well respected in their field too, and like their expertise.
yeah, this definitely wasn't something that I just like, threw together, was like, okay, I'll just write this. It was, it's a published book, like it's definitely a thing. And yeah, it was super fun to write. It was a good challenge for me and I enjoy writing. And so it was a healthy, balance from like entering into motherhood, which was so hard. And so much of it was out of my control that I think writing the book was what was in my control. I could do the thing, like I'm very extroverted, so I could reach out to my interviewers and do all that kind of stuff, and I could like hone in. And I'm very lucky I had help every Tuesday. My mom would come over for a few hours and I would bike up to the library and I would write, and I had my 3 hours of just like me time, which was amazing. So yes, I love it. And it's actually one of the things I always tell people is like, it's not only good for you, but if you get it like a copy for your friend, it's such a good like gift book because it's like, haha, silly, and take care of yourself. It's like a good permission slip to give to other people. So I love that. Any other therapists, I know a lot of therapists actually that use it as a resource for their clients, whether like in their own therapy sessions, or I always say it's like an 18 plus audience because I do swear in it. And there's chapter 69 is something that you might want to give to an adult population. But yes, that's the book. I got 99 coping skills and being a bitch ain't one. And it's
Yeah,
wonderful.
it is wonderful. And I have a copy here in my office, and then I have my signed copy at home.
Oh my gosh, I should sign both of your copies. That's so fun. Yeah, I should tell your listeners too. You guys can reach out to me and just mention that you listen to Ryan's podcast and I will send you a copy. I do a flat rate of $15. It retails on Amazon for 18. But if you reach out to me directly, if you are in the United States, I will send you a copy. Just again, mention Ryan's podcast and we can do like a little giveaway even or
I
something
love
if you
this.
want. Let's do it. I'm
Yeah,
so into that. Okay,
it's in
great.
here now, so we're doing it.
It's done. It's done. We're doing a giveaway. Okay,
So we're going
fun.
to do the $15, and then
Yep.
what do you want your giveaway to be?
One lucky listener. What do you
Great.
think?
Yeah, I
Great.
love it.
Okay.
Maybe,
Write a review for Ryan's pod
yeah,
and come say hi to me on Instagram or something. I don't know.
yeah, we can figure out the logistics, but there will be a giveaway. So stay tuned on my social media and Lindsay's social media, and it'll be at the end of the podcast
Yeah.
too. I'll
Awesome.
record it for that. So yay, exciting
Cool.
giveaway.
All right.
Lindsay and I both had babies during the pandemic.
You did.
2020. What a year.
What a year.
What a year all around. So for my listeners, you guys know, like my daughter's a little over 3. Lindsay's daughter is about to turn 3.
She just turned 3 last
Oh my
week.
God, it was just her birthday.
I know. Can you even believe it? I know.
No, I can't.
I had tears. I had tears. It's okay.
I can't. So we have 3-year-olds. What you and I have both kind of been very vocal about our experience in motherhood, the postpartum experience. Horrific, disappointing. I feel like I still have so many emotions around it, 3 years like removed. What was your entry into motherhood like?
Yeah. It's hard to it's really hard to articulate because for me, I was never like, I want to be a mom. Like my whole life, I didn't have that. Once I met my husband when we were dating, he wanted to be a dad. So I was like, okay, I think I can do it, like whatever. And then I came to the conclusion, like, yes, I'm in it to win it. We're doing it. And I distinctly remember when I was 7 months pregnant, I went to like a training and I wish I could remember who put it on because it was the hosts of the seminar were really good, but they talked all about maternal mental health. They talked about the entire perinatal stage, everything. And it was so good. And they talked about how dads actually can get postpartum anxiety and postpartum depression as well. And I was floored. I was like, no way. Well, the reason this was so important to me was because my husband has always been the more anxious one between the two of us. I really was never like a super anxious person. And so I remember him coming home from work that day and me like coaching him. I was like, okay, you're gonna get more anxious when the baby's here. You're just gonna have to talk to me about it. Ryan's laughing because she's like, yeah, that didn't happen. But it truly did not happen that way,
Also,
obviously.
I love how your therapist voice turns on.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Please. My husband knows. He's like, okay, okay. It's great. But oh no, yeah, we had the full conversation. And I was like, I mean, for the last 2 months of my pregnancy, I was like, okay, so like this could be something you could experience. I was like doing the hard research into it, right? And then the baby came, and it was a really hard labor. It was scary and what have you. But then my first 4 weeks in motherhood, I could describe as nothing but blissful. I was crying constantly, but it was tears of joy. I was just like, I could not believe that this was my life. I could not believe how healthy and happy. I mean, she was sleeping within the first 2 weeks, which I know I say and people hate me, but like honestly, she's always been such a good sleeper. Like I was very, very lucky. And then my husband went back to work, and we were in a pandemic. And as I said, I'm, an extrovert, and I was isolated. And I mean, motherhood, I think, is always isolating, but especially in 2020, people I found were making a lot of decisions for me. Like I was getting excluded from events because they were like, well, you have a new baby. You probably don't want to come. And I was like, thank you. I would love nothing more to, attend whatever it was that people were making so stuff like that. Um, and it just kind of snowballed. And I'm not somebody that's like good at sitting in my own stuff. Like I will be like miserable for 3 hours, and then I'm like, okay, I got to do something, hence, the coping skill book. But I just couldn't find anything exactly that like got me out of this headspace. Like my husband and our marriage started suffering. I did not recognize who I was as a human being. I was like, who is this woman? This is not, what I thought it was going to be. And the thing is, like I said, I mean, my baby slept. She ate very well. She had allergies, and that was really scary and messy for a little while. But outside of that, I mean, truly, it wasn't like my child was unhealthy, was, a chaotic child. Like she's very well mannered, very like her demeanor is just like very cool and collected. So I don't know, there's so many words that I could use to describe it, because there's still, I mean, honestly, there's still times that like almost daily, probably, I say I like tear up a little bit because I am so obsessed with her. Like she's so fun. And there's other times that I like want to pull my hair out. I just don't think anybody can fully prepare you for motherhood. I'm rambling, sorry, but that was my experience. I don't know.
Yeah. And I think you're absolutely right that the doctors, the friends, the family, everyone that has had a child, still everyone can tell you everything, and it still doesn't prepare you because your experience is going to be different.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Do you feel like, so we've talked a lot about our birth stories and experience, and also had a traumatic labor and delivery, and did not have a blissful 4 weeks, or even, I don't know, maybe 6 months. Do you think, was it love at first sight for you and her?
It wasn't. I remember being so exhausted. Like people are like, you just feel nothing but love when they put your baby on your chest. And I remember feeling nothing but relief that she was like out and safe, and that I could honestly sleep. Like I was so tired after pushing for so long. I can't even remember how long it was now. I'd have to look at I took a huge long note. Like the next day, I just like wrote it all out so I wouldn't forget and then she ended up needing forceps. I thought we were going to have to go to C. Like it was just like it was a whole process. But after I slept, like she went to NICU, and my husband, I remember looking at him, and he was like, do you want me here? Do you want me there? And I said, you can do whatever. I need to sleep. Like, I think you should probably go be with her if that's what you want. And he did. And so he was, happy to do that. I was happy that he could do that. We did get our 45 minutes of skin to skin. Well, that's a lie. We got like 25 minutes before they had to take her. But still, I got some skin to skin. And then I just rested. And I don't even know how long I slept for, but I vividly remember when they wheeled me down to the NICU so I could go breastfeed her, probably 4 hours after delivery. And then it was like an all-encompassing feeling. Like I remember feeling like so much love just like take over my body, because for those first like while I mean, they were cleaning me up, I was like in and out of sleep, like I was just so exhausted. But then but that moment was like, I mean, something, I don't think I'll ever feel that, ever again. I'm done having children now. I have two. I'm very, very happy with them. But that feeling was great. But I know not everybody has that, like, it's like a slow growth. And I almost don't feel like I've had kind of that all encompassing love with my son. It was like we're growing to love each other kind of thing, versus like having that with my daughter, where it was like maybe it was my first, or it was just, I don't know. But that was kind of my experience with her.
Yeah.
What did you have with Noah?
Oh, not all encompassing, not love at first
Not that.
sight.
Yeah.
It was very traumatic.
Mm-hmm.
I had multiple failed epidurals
Mm-hmm.
that led to a lot of pushing, and I had an episiotomy. And
Mm.
then I feel like they tell you that the epidural is going to like make you not feel anything, but I could feel when I was like pushing, I could feel her head sliding down, and then I could feel her coming all the way back up. And I
Mm.
was like, we're not doing anything. Like, nothing's happening. So and during that time, like she would kind of get lodged and her heart rate would decelerate. And so there was just all of these concerns. And then after she was born, they took her away. I didn't get immediate skin to skin contact. And as a therapist, and I've done a lot of like trauma work around this, I've done some EMDR around it, and I still have missing pieces of time
Mm-hmm.
following when she was fully out. So I
Mm-hmm.
kind of just like blacked out and haven't been able to recover like the time frame around it. In my mind, my perception is that I did not see or hold her for at least an hour. It's maybe longer than that.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was started to hemorrhage and there was some other complications going on. And with her heart, they needed to make sure that was all okay. But I just never felt like, oh my gosh, I'm so in love with you. I
Mm-hmm.
feel that now. And I think it grew over time. But then as the weeks went on, I developed a severe infection,
Mm-hmm.
which just kind of resulted in emergency surgery and being readmitted to the hospital. And I just feel like I never had that opportunity of like true bonding, I guess,
Mm-hmm.
if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
like our breastfeeding journey didn't go well. Like,
Yeah. I do think like some like the breastfeeding journey for me did go so well, and I feel so fortunate for that. And I think that probably helped. Like it wasn't she wouldn't take a bottle, so I breastfed her exclusively for 13 months. So that part was hard, but like we like I didn't have like, I wasn't sore. I mean, truly, like it was relatively easy for me. And I think so much is overshadowed by like the hardships that like I think I was in pure bliss for those 4 weeks because I had my husband to help and lean on, and I had his support, right? He had It was 3 weeks, but I was still like the first week by myself. I was very impressed with myself. I was like, okay, we got this.
do this.
We're both alive. Like things are going well over here. And then about a week later, I was like, oh, wait, no, this sucks. So I think, I have a lot to say about our paternity rights here in the United States. And I think if I had had like a true village, the way if people say like it takes a village, and that support was actually, genuinely provided through, work leave policies and other avenues, then that would have looked different too. Um, I don't, yeah. So did your husband have, yeah.
He was off for a little bit, but he's a professor. So he was
Mhm.
teaching from home.
Right.
So it was kind of weird how it worked out because so Noah was born in the middle of August, which is like right before the fall semester starts. And we're in the hospital, like I'm in labor and he's off on the couch, like on a meeting because they
Mm-hmm.
had to plan for like how our class is going to go
Mm-hmm.
and couldn't reschedule it because he
Mm-hmm.
had to be there. But the nurse was so pissed. She
I
was
love nurses. I love
so,
nurses.
she was like I think the epitome of like the nurse that is just ready to retire. Like she is
Mm-hmm.
at her seniority, she has outlived her stay here. And she was like, why is he on this meeting? You are in labor. He needs to get off the meeting. And like nothing, this is like right as I was being admitted, like nothing's happening. They're just hooking everything up. And she's like, he's over here on Zoom and she's just like fired up. I was like, can we just focus on me, the one that's having the baby?
Right. Like I'm good with it. So like
He's
you
fine.
need to be good with it.
Yeah. Like we need him to keep his job. So he needs to be on this meeting. Like
Yeah, right. Hello,
we're
financially.
already in a pandemic and things are up in the air. So let's just don't worry about it. But then he was off for a little bit after and has a lot of flexibility in his job. So I don't think I don't think they have like an actual paternity leave, but he was able to kind of like flex and be there and support. And then I was able to work remotely and literally would just work with like Noah on my chest
Mm-hmm.
as I was on my laptop
Yeah.
working. But I've had this conversation with so many people that nobody can prepare you for everything. And like the infection that I got was due to retained placenta that wasn't fully removed because it had reattached. So I had placenta like the size of a quarter
Mm.
stuck that had like relatched onto my uterus. And it's like 0.01% of people this happens to. Like it is not common. It just happened due to my blood not clotting properly after everything. And I think it was like my body was just like slowly becoming sicker and sicker and sicker. And I don't know if I've ever even shared like that full story that like I had like 105 fever and was just at home, like nothing was wrong.
I remember you came over and went for a walk with like, the girls and us went for a walk or whatever. And I remember you like telling me a lot about your scenario, but I mean, also mom
Yeah,
brain is real. So I mean, like our
yeah,
conversation, God, if you listen to our conversation on that walk, I'm sure it was just like,
all over the
what is
place.
happening to these people?
Yeah.
Where did my brain go? But yes.
And I don't even know if it would have helped to know like it's possible for the epidural to fail. It's possible if these things happen. It's possible that this might happen. I don't know if any of that would have helped make the situation any better or change my outcome. Like, had I been prepared, like it just happened and it happened so fast.
Yeah. Well, and I think, like you say, I mean, it's just, I agree. Like, there's just nothing you can do to really prepare with that first. And I mean, I don't want, like, I never want to say anything to like scare people, but I also want to like talk openly about it because I think I had, like, particularly, I had so many intrusive thoughts during,
Yeah.
my pregnancy and after about like her health and just things like that. And I didn't know that that was a thing. I didn't have a word for them. I didn't know, that kind of stuff. And so it sounds so scary. And I think, as a society, we've done this, you kind of like a pro con thing, right? We're talking about it. It's more out there. You can find any information that you want with like a couple swipes down, social media lane, but it's also, there's so much beauty in it. So
Mm-hmm.
because I did have such a good experience with my daughter in some ways, and so much of it, like I said before, revolved around my marriage. We know that heterosexual relationships, particularly women, really struggle because your marriage changes and dynamics change, and there's not a lot of conversation. There's not a lot of preemptive conversation around some of it, which can be really challenging. Finances, obviously, are a huge, huge concern. So that all that to say, I would do it 1,000 times over again. It was hard. It was really hard. And I'm so happy that I did it because I mean, people ask, like, what is it worth it to have a baby? And my answer is yes. Like 10 over, it's just without question in my head, the answer is yes. And my birth with my son it was so easy. Like it was just normal. Like I was like, if I had 18 more births like that, I would have probably 18 more kids. Like it was just like so simple, so pain free. I was like up and moving around. I was like, oh my God. Like I told AJ, I was like, you're gonna, my husband, you're gonna have to slow me down because I felt so good that I was like, I know I'm gonna overdo it because I feel so great. Like because I didn't have that with Kins. I was truly recovering for
Yeah.
weeks with her. And with Dakota, I was like buzzing. Like, what's up? Went to the Mall of America on day 3. He was 3 days old. Like, let's go walk around the mall. It was
What's
great.
that like?
It was wonderful. It was truly wonderful. And we were like in the elevator. I was taking him up and they're like, oh, he's new. And I was like, yeah, he's new. How old is he? I was like, oh, he's 3 days. Like 3 days? Or no, maybe he was 4 days. He was 4 days old.
Regardless,
But either way,
it's the
I was
same.
like buzzing around. I mean, we got home and I was like, yeah, that was probably too much, but I really went for it. It was great. I was like, this is so new. So that entry into second time motherhood is so much different. So
Did AJ have the postpartum anxiety and depression that you
no,
alluded to in the beginning?
no, no, he had nothing. And he was honestly like, what has taken over my wife? Like, what's going on?
Yeah.
Because I was such a nervous Nelly. And to be fair to him, I mean, like that is really scary for him to like, and he doesn't know how to help. He does not have a therapy background. He is a graphic designer that has never once taken a psychology class in his life, you know? So he was just like, he had no idea how to help me. And even as a person who, you know, a therapist myself, like I didn't know how to help me.
Right.
And so yeah, that was rough for him and for us. But no, he was totally fine. He was just like, yeah, this
Here to
baby's
help.
great. He's like, she came out 9 pounds. He was like, she's this, yeah, she was huge. Sturdiest baby ever. I was like, yeah, she's holding her head up on day one. Like, I don't know. She's chilling.
Ready to go.
Oh gosh, yeah.
That's a big baby.
It's
Good for you.
big baby. Yeah.
Good for you.
My OB quote, we breed them big here in Carver County. I was like, can we never? Can we never say something like that? She guessed that she was going to be medium to small, but probably close, you know, on the smaller side of medium. And she was 9 pounds.
You were overdue with her though, right?
Yes, but well, yeah.
Yeah.
I was in active labor on my due date, and then I went in and out of active labor for 3 days, and she showed up on this, you know, 4 days after. But yeah, no, we went to the hospital like 3 times because they were like, yeah, you're ready, let's go. And then I would sit and I would sit and I would sit in labor and have my contractions, and then they'd send me home. And finally on the last one, I was like, do what you must. I am not going home this time.
My water broke with Noah at 5:30 in the morning, and I went and sat on the couch with a pee pad and a Depends on and watched reality TV for 3 hours.
Oh, wow, that's nice. I thought my water broke on my due date, and AJ was out
Oh,
hunting.
great.
So I called him and I said,
Yeah.
well, actually, I called the hospital first. I think my water broke. I couldn't really tell. Really, what had happened is I was peeing, and then I got off the toilet and I thought I was still peeing. And I was like, oh, that must be my water. No, that was just me peeing my pants for everyone to know that. Fun fact about me. But I was like, oh, that's weird. Like something's happening. And so I called him and I said, you know, they gave us an hour. They were like, come in an hour, take a shower, eat something, you know, whatever. So I called him. I was like, hey, I think my water broke. You have an hour to like before we need to be there. So you don't, he was hunting relatively nearby, but he was like, I almost left decoys behind. Like he was like frantic. And I was like, oh my God. But yeah, no, and then we got there and they were like, no, your water didn't break. But she was like, are you feeling these contractions? And I was like, I mean, I feel something, but like not. And she was like, yeah, these are contractions. She was like, I'm going to send you home because I don't want to admit you because once you're admitted, my OB said no food or water. And so she was like, I don't want you to, you know, have to endure that for hours if you don't have to. So go home. The hospital for us is like 20 minutes. It wasn't like a long drive. And they were like, we are 99% sure that we will see you in about 5 hours. And that was not true. So very exciting.
Yeah. It's funny how that works.
Yeah.
Pregnancy's weird.
Yeah.
So now you're a certified financial therapist, coach. What's your title?
Tell me more. So yes, so my certification is technically a certified financial social worker and coach. With my certification, I got both the coaching title, so I can work outside of the scope of Minnesota, but I can technically practice as a social worker, licensing social worker also, which I don't do. Like I almost always just am a coach.
Yeah, and I feel like this stemmed, so kind of in the beginning, you were focusing more on like motherhood, coping with motherhood, learning just ways to maybe be better in motherhood or healthier in motherhood. And it's transpired into this financial piece. How did we get there?
Yeah, no, that's such a good question. No one's ever asked me that. That's so funny. That's a really good question though. Yeah. So I practiced, like I said at the beginning, like a generalist for so long. So I did a lot of coping skill stuff with my clients. And then, yeah, after I became a mom, and as we've talked about, had a, you know, hard time entry into motherhood, I was like, I need to do more about this. Like, what can I do to help other moms so they don't have the same experience? And what I realized after working with a lot of moms, and I actually like outlined an entire course and all this stuff. One, it's really hard to get moms to actually like invest in themselves and to think like I think when you're in it you don't realize how like quote unquote bad it is until you're out of it almost. And so for a while I was like, do I market this to dads, because dads are actually possible, or partners I should say, going to pick up on like some of their partner stuff more than like, you know what I mean? Like so anyway, all that to say, I did that for a while. And then I started realizing like as my fog started lifting and I became, back on my healthy side of things, I was like, this is heavy. We need it. I cannot do this forever. Like, I don't want to be working with postpartum moms because it is so heavy and I don't have the capacity being a new mom still myself. Like now my son is 10 months old. I have a 3-year-old and I was like, I didn't have as heavy of like postpartum stuff with my son. And so I was like, I don't want to put myself in that mindset when I'm like finally getting myself out of that mindset. And so I've always been a money nerd. Like I've always really enjoyed crunching numbers. I've always really enjoyed math. I've always enjoyed a lot of that kind of stuff. And somewhere along the way, I've realized like how emotional money and finances really are, and how finances is actually the number one stressor across our nation. And so my husband and I actually started getting really serious about our finances about 7 years ago. He was looking to buy his first home. I basically, we were looking at it together, though we weren't yet married, doing that whole process. I ended up just really absorbing a lot of financial information back then. So then transition, what I was realizing is I was doing a lot of my motherhood stuff after my daughter was born. Like so much of the concern that people have actually revolves around finances. Like if any decision that you are going to make in your life has a health component, like are you healthy enough to do X, Y, or Z? Do you have the finances to do whatever it is that you want to do? And if you have children, then you have to figure out, are they coming or are they not coming, and who's our babysitter? Right? Like those are the three things that truly touch every single decision that you're going to make. Otherwise, that's not true for everyone. So I don't know. So I was listening actually to a book called How Not to Hate Your Husband After Kids. Really good. And I was more doing that at that time. I should have listened to it 3 years ago, but I was listening to it out of more like work to help my clients and things at the time. And she mentioned, it was an audiobook, and she mentioned financial therapy. And I hit pause and was like, oh my God, what is financial therapy? Immediately Googled, found all these different options, certification processes, whatever. Well, my rule of thumb has always been like wait 48 hours for like a big purchase. So I followed my rule. I waited the 48 hours, but immediately my husband got home that night and I was like, I'm going to be a financial therapist. He's like, what's that? And I was like, it's me. That's what it is. And I was so excited about it. And so, yeah, I mean, literally I took the certification. It takes, I think you have 6 months to complete the program and take the test. And I finished it in just over 3 weeks. Like I did nothing but do this. I was still pregnant with my son, or no, you know what? He was here. He was here, he was alive, he was born, but he was a newborn, so he was like really sleepy, so I could do a lot of it while he was like sleeping on me or whatever. And my daughter is still napping because she's an angel and does that. And so I mean literally every night for weeks I did nothing. Like I mean my husband and I like barely spoke because I was like, okay, I need to do my coursework. I would wake up at 4:30 in the morning and do my coursework before my kids would wake up. Like I loved it. And I that's the thing, is like I truly enjoyed it. It wasn't just like I have to do this because I want to just crank it out. It was like, let me learn more. And so now I've been doing that and it's going so well. My clients have all been amazing. We've made leaps and bounds. It's been so fun to talk to people about their money. And because it's still such a taboo topic, especially for women, especially for people in the helping profession. I think there's like this underlying, subliminal thought that like we shouldn't want money. We're not in it for the money. We're not here to help people for the money. And I'm like, hell no, I want to live my life the way I want to live my life. And I deserve to be paid, the proper amount for the things that the services that I'm providing too. And, like, I mean, it's just, yeah. So I think there's a lot of that. There's a lot of money scripts that people tell themselves unconsciously or not about how they feel about greed and all these different things, and it's so fun to talk about, so let's talk about it.
What's like one of the top emotional themes you're seeing in your clients related to money, like shame or just like scarcity?
both Both, absolutely. Yes. I think shame is the biggest one. People are so embarrassed that they like don't know how to properly manage their money or how they feel about money or how they fight about money with their spouse or whatever. There's a lot of shame in that. So I always say like my whole practice is shame free. Like anything you do was in the past that happened, let's recognize it, but like let's learn from it kind of thing. And it's so funny. It's like truly money language is a whole different language. And like if you compare it to French and you've never taken French, like nobody feels bad for not understanding French if they've never taken a French class. And yet
Right.
with money, it's like we were never taught financial things. My parents never taught me, and I'm really embarrassed that I don't know anything about it. And I'm like, what? Like how can you feel bad? Like you've never learned, you know? But I think that probably the most common thing I see is avoidance. People are so money avoidant, like won't open their bills, won't open their statements, just hope and pray that everything's balancing out. Hope, like a lot of that. It's called the ostrich effect. Actually, there's a name for it. Is so when you're sticking your head in the sand, avoiding kind of all that kind of
Oh,
stuff,
yeah.
any money stuff, and you just and even with yourself or with your partner or with your friends or what have you, it's like, oh, the bill comes at a dinner, and you're like, I don't know how are we gonna pay this. It's like it gets awkward, like that kind of stuff. So yeah, shame, guilt, scared, yeah, all of that for sure.
What's been like the biggest or coolest impact you've seen from your work doing this so far?
Oh my God, I
Most
have so many examples. I mean, like
terribly
literally,
worded.
no, I know what you mean though. All of my clients have had such significant wins that it's hard to like even say. But one of my clients right now, she's in a financial position. She's doing very well. We've gotten her kind of like situated. We've automated a lot of her bills, which has been really helpful for just easing some of her anxiety. She doesn't have to be so on top of it because computers do that better than humans do anyway, right? So some of that was really helpful. She invested her first dollar at 38 years old. This was just last week. And she was like, oh my God, like I'm an investor. Like she just kept saying it. And I was like, you're doing it. Like now she has like a full plan for retirement. She's on track to retire when she's 65. Like she's such a success. And her homework this last time was to plan her birthday vacation to Chicago, because the whole idea is like, let's figure out what life it is that you specifically, right? You unique to you have a dream about what you want your life to look like. What is that? Not what everybody else wants, not what the Joneses want, not what the Kardashians want, not what everybody else wants. What do you want?
Mm-hmm.
And let's figure out a way to get you there. And the way I go about that then is reverse engineering that, right? And so her like on her list, on her dreams is to go to Chicago for her birthday. And I was like, your homework is to plan it, plan the trip, budget it out, right? And then we know when that trip is going to happen. She's not actually purchasing anything, but
Mm-hmm.
she's getting an idea, and then we can again reverse engineer the budget kind of, or the spending plan. But people hate the word budget, but to make that happen for her. So that's been really exciting. I just thought of like 12 others, but I'll leave it at that one.
So this is your career.
This is yes. I'm like, I've never felt so absolute in alignment with what I should be doing to help people. And it feels so good to be able to provide something that I think is actually truly, I mean, in my heart of hearts, I feel like it is so necessary. Like people don't have the tools, they don't have the resources, they don't have the ability, like even like one of my clients and I, we literally just did like a comparative of her paycheck to what she works in a hospital. She has differentials. She was like, I am too scared to make sure that my paycheck is correct. And I'm almost positive it's wrong, but I'll just let them keep the money. And I was like, no, girl, no, we're not doing that. So like, that's what we did for like most of our session, was just like compare her differentials and make sure that everything was, and she was like, I feel such a sense of relief at the end of that, just to like, oh my God, like I was right, they were wrong, and this is how I'm going to approach that conversation, and this is what I'm going to do going forward. Like, so we just made a plan to make sure that she was getting paid properly, just
Right.
like things like that people are like, oh, it's okay, like I don't want to like confront anyone. It's like, no, it's not. It's like, this is an agreement that you guys made as an employee
Right.
and employer, right? So I think, yeah, it just, I don't know, I love it. I'm opening up because my one-to-one sessions have been full since I opened. Essentially, I'm now launching a group program. I don't know when this episode is going to come out, but the group is starting on Black Friday. Doors open, and I'm launching it for $29 a month, or you can save $50 more and just do it's $2.99 for a whole annual package. because also price transparency is wildly important to me.
Yeah.
But and inside that group, right now it's all moms, which is super fun, but it's open to anybody. Primarily women is kind of who we're focusing on, but anyone is more than welcome to come. Um, and figure out answer get I can answer all your money questions, from all the emotional stuff. And then I don't give advice. I'm very clear to not give advice, but I educate you around where your resources are going to come from, how you can set yourself up for retirement. If you want to start a 529 plan for your kids, we talk about all of that. And I am elated. I'm so excited about it. We have such good topics coming up, and it's going to be so fun. One of the women who was like, I don't know, I don't know. She's like, how do I know that my individual questions are going to be answered? I was like, girl, because I'm going to be in there almost every day. Like, type your question out and I will respond to it, and I'm going to be doing live Q&As. I have other experts coming in to talk about things. So it is going to be, I'm really hoping how impactful. I think it'll really serve people kind of in the broader sense. So I'm so excited about it. I think it's going to be great.
Yeah. So this will come out before Black Friday. I'll get the details from Lindsey about the group and get those in the show notes too, and link all of her social media or your Instagram. Yeah. And I will just say, from my observation as your friend, we have a lot of coffee work dates.
We do.
And I've, been along the journey of like the Coping with Motherhood book or course. And like, this feels much more, like you said, aligned, more intentional. And like the Coping with Motherhood did feel intentional, but I think you always maybe felt a little scattered, or just like wanting to find, like, there was always something else that needed to be done.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. But like, this feels like so good. And so well thought out, and like, you're not trying to like overthink it.
No.
Maybe with your amortization schedule that you made was overthinking, but we'll leave that here.
We'll leave that for the guessing game. Yes, I made a whole amortization schedule for everyone, and I decided not to share it because nobody cares about amortization schedules except for me, but it's so interesting.
But you made it.
But I made it. Yes. No, I totally agree with you. It's like the other stuff I was like trying to find my path, and I think that aligns with like how motherhood is. You're like trying to find what kind of mom you want to be, right? Like, do you want to be the sensory bin mom? Do you want to be the gymnastics mom, the soccer mom? Like, which mom are you going to be? And I found my groove in my motherhood, and now I'm like so happy to say I found my groove like in my therapy practice of like, my niche is financial therapy, and I am here to stay, and I am so happy to be here, and it's amazing.
Wonderful. So the people can find you at Coping with Lindsey.
That's me.
On Instagram, and that's also your website.
Yep.
We'll link it all. Last question. What is the one piece of advice or the one thing you wish people knew about anything?
Ooh.
Loaded question.
Yeah, damn. I will stick with the financial route and say I wish people knew that money was simply a tool to get you to the life that you want to live. Period. It's not bad. It's not evil. It's not inherently good or bad, right? It's just a tool that is actually going to get you to the point where you want to be. And it's just a matter of doing the work to get you there.
With that, what's an easy, low entry, low stress step that someone can take to start that process?
Follow me on Instagram. Just kidding.
Beautiful. Also
that. I think the only way out is through. Like, I think I'm a huge advocate for education and financial literacy in general. And so I think the very first thing that you can do is truly, like, if you have a question, figure out what it is and type it into Google. Like, there's so many resources out there to help you. And it's sometimes more than just the education. I think there is a lot of, some hand holding that needs to be done too, which is, why I'm here. But I think a lot of it is just figuring out how you feel about certain things and why you're feeling that way. So like a lot of awareness, I guess. Google and me, we're both here to help you.
Perfect. I love that. Well, we're out of time.
We're out of time. We've been here an hour.
We have been here an hour. I want to thank you for taking time. I know this is probably nap time.
It is.
So thank you for taking time out of your Monday to chat with me and share everything about motherhood and finances and your own mental health and just having this conversation with me. I
Thank you for
appreciate it.
having me. Yeah. I'm so excited to see where your podcast goes because it's awesome.
Oh, thanks. For listening to this episode. As we mentioned in the podcast, we're doing a giveaway of one of Lindsey's books. I've got 99 coping skills, and being a bitch ain't one of them. All you have to do is follow both of us on social media and write a review for this podcast, What Brought You Here Today. I'm on Instagram at ryan.melick, and you can find Lindsey on Instagram at copingwithlindsey. A winner will be selected on Friday, November 3rd. And again, a big thank you for listening and for all of your support. I appreciate all of you so much and hope you have a beautiful day.